everybody? Hugh Kellenberger here. Dustin Dopirak.
Dustin Dopirak.
Sorry, Dustin.
You called yourself out on it this time.
Dustin Dopirak.
Correct.
Bam.
Bam! Did
Took
it.
a year and a half,
Zacho
but we got it.
A year and a half, but I finally got it. I'm from the South, man. We don't have names like that.
I let you go. I mean,
It's true, we don't.
when you
Zachary.
when you grow up
Dustin's kind of
Slovak,
a
you
weird
get used to
name,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
It's not John or
Anyway,
Yes.
moving on.
Zachary Osterman, which is a very southern name.
Southern Germany, maybe.
Plubs.
Us.
Anyways, guys, let's talk about it. Indiana loses to Northwestern tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They are 0-4 against the number 9 and 10 teams in the Big Ten, Iowa and Northwestern. They split those two, and this is a 14 and 13 team.
Yeah.
They go 0-4. They're 12 and 15, and nobody's happy right now because the defense was Charles Barkley terrible. Do it, Zach.
Terrible. That's just terrible. No defense. Only shoot the three. Can't rebound.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Dallas Mavericks.
no, lots of open threes tonight.
Lots of them.
They actually hit. I mean, Northwestern only had 8 twos, so I guess theoretically the back cuts weren't killing them, but that was a large part because Northwestern was in.
But there were some pretty easy back cuts too.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Yeah,
no
it wasn't
offense,
good.
But John Scherna, I mean, dude's still wearing a boot, and he was driving on people at the end of the game.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, he was wearing a boot coming out of the locker room after the game.
Yeah.
He was still able to drive past Christian Watford.
Drive on people,
in the
draw
last 5 minutes
fouls.
of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much did whatever they wanted to do.
And defend Watford such that he didn't pick up his 5th foul, even when Watford was basically, no matter where he was driving on Scherna, just trying to force that 5th foul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were other situations. I think Jeremiah Rivers stuck out as a particular one where they did not attack Scherna. And that's just, it kind of seems to go back to an awearness of not knowing that John Scherna has 4 fouls. And
Yeah,
if
and
you can get John
really get him
Scherna
out of the game.
to foul out with 5 minutes left in the game, that's a huge thing for your team.
Yeah.
And to not be able to make that happen, I think says something about where this team's mindset is in terms of playing the game and being smart throughout the game.
Yeah, no, it just seems strange, especially I didn't think they started out atrociously early, but I think there was a few shots where it just really got out of hand, especially the 4-point play after Thomas hit the 3, drew the foul off Daniel Moore. From that point on, especially they seemed to just totally lose it. Left up a lot of open shooters, and Northwestern really broke it open at that point. And there was just stretches where they just didn't do anything well. Offense, wasn't really moving at that point. And defense was just leaving open a lot of open shots, not rotating particularly well, not moving that well in the zone. Tom said it was kind of hopping around, was kind of more what it was like, and that was pretty true. There wasn't a lot of direction. Guys were just sort of there, and they got burned really bad.
That thing that he's kept hammering on about sort of chasing the pass.
Yeah,
Right.
moving on the
What he
catch.
calls moving on the catch.
Right.
Which
As
means
opposed
that
to
they're
moving
not,
when the ball leaves
Right,
the hand.
exactly. They're moving. They're reacting to the play. They're not moving with it.
Right, and there was
they're
a
looking
first
out and
half
seeing,
possession.
oh God, he's open. I better
Right.
go close out.
Right, there was a first half possession. Northwestern had the ball right around the key, right around the elbow area, and got it to the corner. And just the entire Indiana team, reacting to the pass, jumped out to the corner. But by the time they made 3 steps, it's
Yeah.
to
It's
the
either-
edge. They moved it around, and suddenly all 4
It was a clinic on ball movement.
Right, 4
Yeah.
guys were all towards the edge still, and Scherna has a 3 at the top of the key.
It was like
Yeah.
something Norman Day. I mean, it was just 1, 2, 3, 4 shots.
Right, which is Northwestern. You
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what you're getting. This was not like It's not like Illinois all of a sudden came out and just became a great fundamental basketball
harsh.
team.
No.
It's harsh on
Yeah,
Illinois.
it's harsh.
I mean,
No,
but
I mean,
you know what you're going to get with Northwestern.
Yeah, if they hit threes, they're probably going to beat you.
Right. And Tom wanted to play zone, and I can understand a really aggressive zone that got up and guarded places and got up into people probably does have a good chance of being successful.
And also took away Luka Merkovic, who had
Right.
I mean, what was it, 20 and 12 against Indiana?
Yeah.
In Welsh Ryan,
I mean,
yeah.
he was the reason that Indiana couldn't
Right.
do anything for large
Right.
portions of that game defensively.
Right, but the zone tonight was just too...
It was too porous.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, it just
I mean,
sat back.
it really honestly did. I mean, Tom was right. It came down to exactly that, to not reacting the right way.
Yeah. It was
on
lack of
passes.
energy. It
Not,
was just
not
it
moving
just,
and rotating.
Right,
Yeah.
guys. Let's look at the big picture for a minute. Should we expect this program? We're almost at the end of year 3, season 3. Obviously, a lot of terrible things have happened. Obviously, you can't for 2 seasons, you can't really have judged the program by any normal, qualification, normal grading scales did not work.
Yeah.
We started to this season kind of get back to a sense of normalcy, that it was about winning and losing games now. Do you think it's fair at this point to say that this team should be better at things like this?
It should be better. I don't know how much better it should be. Again, you're still talking about a situation where you've had a lot of guys out, and the most talented, the most overall talented player on this team, when he's healthy, is out for the year again. So there's an issue with that, and also you were expecting to have a center who's not playing, so that still has to be kept into account. Right. But yeah, they should have won a few more games. This is a game they should have won. Michigan on Saturday was a game they should have won. There's an Iowa game, and there's probably 4 or 5 games that were clearly winnable, that were not beyond their reach of talent, and that they could have had. Now, do you kind of presume that they should have had every single one of them? Maybe not, but there have been plenty of games where they were going against teams that were not that superior to them, that they could have got some wins. Now, what does that actually mean in the long term? At the end of the day, I don't think the long-term direction of this program is going to be even judged on year 3. It's really going to be once he really gets players in here. You won't even really be thinking about this.
But the thing is the program has to be set up in a way that those guys can be successful. Jared Solinger is a great talent. Jared Solinger is a National Player of the Year candidate because they have 4 seniors who know exactly how to play basketball and know their roles and do everything that they're supposed to do. The best way the class of 2012 can be successful is if the team now is set up.
Well, it's never going to be set up like that, though. Those Ohio State guys have been to tournaments. They've been with other great players.
But if this team executed better, if this team got to an NIT this year.
Sure. No, it would make a difference, yes. There's no question that Cody Zeller coming in next year would be in a much better position if this team was an NIT team as opposed to what it is. Right. But, how much are you losing by being a non-NIT team or whatever? They were never going to have the kind of structure that Jared Solinger was going to come into. They lose National Player of the Year and fit him in. They're used to having guys that good. They have, Lighty and all them, and they've got some guys with tournament experience. But that's been built on a lot of other things. Those guys have been. There was no way of building Indiana to what Ohio State.
No, and I'm not saying they should be at Ohio State, but I'm saying is that those guys know how to win games.
Well, see, I think
this group should know how to win games.
It does.
I wonder if we don't. I wonder if we're just now beginning to realize how destructive the first year and maybe some of the second year. There was always this assumption that, okay, we won 6 games this year, but we're going to be better for it because we're going to have guys who played junior minutes as a freshman and had to go through all these things and we're going to be on this ridiculous learning curve that eventually they would kind of reach this top of where it would start to flatten out. But maybe that assumption was wrong, and that this team is damaged in certain ways more than it is better for those struggles. I don't know if that quite makes sense, but
it does. It does.
Just the idea that there was always just this assumption that Indiana would be better for all this losing, for all these hard times that it would have to fight through. I don't think it is.
You get to a point. You get to a point where, we're competitive.
It's
we're in games. Yeah. Hey, we got 12 wins. We doubled our freshman win total. That's great.
It's also about certain guys, though. And you don't want to put it. Because it is on everybody, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound like I'm making excuses for Crean, and I'm not. But he came in there tonight just talking about needing guys to be accountable to one another, and that's obviously in a way it's on him to foster an environment where that happens. But you still don't get the impression they're just still. We've said it before. We've said it for a long time. There's still not a leader on this team.
Yeah, no, this team has been set. This team, Tom has really tried to set up because there isn't a leader. Yeah. He's tried to set up this all for one for all, we're all in this together philosophy. But you're right. Sometimes when things go bad in that situation, things go bad.
Yeah. It's hard to tell, can you pick a guy and just say, for all your flaws as a leader, for all the fact that I'm not sure that you're totally ready for this, I'm going to put the faith in you anyway, just to say we need a guy that everybody else is looking
You need the guy to grab it.
But yet,
Yeah,
It only works if
Because-
the guy
But
grabs
apparently
it.
you
There
don't.
are a
That's
lot of
the thing.
people who, I mean, there were even people, I think, criticizing Tom Crean on my Twitter feed tonight while I was tweeting his press conference. But the thing is that you do need a guy to grab it, and it can't be the coach. The coach can't be the one who demands the accountability, because it's got to be somebody who's not also telling you what to do all the time.
Right.
It's got to be someone who voluntarily steps up and takes it, and then earns that respect. I mean, in all seriousness, you're right. I mean, it's not defending Crean. I think he's just kind of right in this case.
Right.
You can foster the idea of accountability. You can't point at Jordan Hulls and say, "You are this team's leader now.
Right.
Go lead them."
All right. Well since
know.
you mentioned Jordan, we'll lead in this one on this real quickly. 10 seconds, 10 words. Who is the guy? Who is the guy most likely
can't do
to
anything in 10 words.
grab the pole and say, "I am the guy. I'm going to do this"?
Okay.
I mean, Holes is probably the guy who should be it. I wonder if he'll ever be allowed by certain other guys to take it.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
All right.
I think
No,
Verdell wants it
yeah.
more, and I don't think Verdell's earned it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Zach?
I mean, I think it's Hulls, but I don't think he'll take it. I mean,
Yeah, that's true,
I see
too.
him defer way too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he could be a much more forceful player. But you're right. I mean, I don't know that it's anybody on this team. I think it could either be Sheehy or Oladipo at some point, but not right now. I mean, it can't be a freshman.
think-
It
Ways
can't
in
be
the future.
It can't be freshmen on this team.
No.
Right. I think Jordan can grab it, but not now. It's going to be in the offseason.
Yeah.
It's going to be by being the guy during the offseason. I think it's going to happen this offseason. Somebody's going to grab it, for better or for worse. It may not be the right guy, but someone's going to grab it during this offseason.
We'll see.
All right, everybody. Thanks for
It's
watching.
gonna be Devin Dumas,
Devin.
He's coming back.
graduate
Heat checks.
assistant Devin Dumas.
We need us some heat checks. Actually,
You know who
it should
would be? T-Sean.
And that's how we're ending.